Good evening, good evening. It is Inez McDonald, your favorite apostle. So, I haven't been on in quite a few weeks, just with a teaching. No excuse, just life. And so, I wanted to make sure that I came on today to just discuss some things that I've spoken on in the past, but I feel like the Holy Spirit wants me to emphasize this again, and it is man's lease on earth. Man's lease on earth. In Genesis, the book of Genesis, God gives Adam, the first man, dominion and authority over all living things on the earth, right? So essentially, God allows man to borrow earth for a time and have dominion over it and rule over the things of the earth. So then God also says, I'm going to allow you, to name the animals that I create, and I want to see what you're going to name them. And then he creates woman. God had given man instructions before woman was even created. And it was up to man to relay those instructions from God to the woman, right? But nowhere in the Bible does it show that he relayed that message that God gave him to have power or to have authority and dominion over the earth and the things of the earth, and to also not eat from the tree of good and evil. So man knew that he wasn't supposed to eat from that tree, but didn't relay that information to a woman, right? And the one thing that I did also notice is that in that time where man was naming all of the animals and the creations that God brought to him, he didn't name woman. He named woman Eve after the fall, right? After they disobeyed God, after they chose not to trust God. And why it's so important to understand that Eve should have been named before the fall is because the Bible specifically says that Eve's name means mother of all living things. And had she been named mother of all living things, she would have been walking in her God-given authority. I hope that makes sense. Because so let's just back it up a little bit here so I can slow down. Adam, was given dominion and authority over all things. Eve's name means mother of all living things. So together, they had dominion and authority. But because he only called her woman and hadn't named her, she wasn't being spoken over, or Adam wasn't speaking over her name, and wasn't calling her purpose into existence, if that makes sense. So like when you speak Eve, you are saying her purpose out loud each time you call her. And that's important, because had she been named before, she would have known what she was supposed to do. She would have known her God-given authority because she was being called by her name. And we know that Jesus is the second Adam. And instead of pointing the finger at woman and the bride, right, his wife, like the first Adam did, he chooses to accept her and love her and care for her and to bring her with him, right, into eternity. And that bride, of course, is us. Why is that important for us to know? Because our time on this earth is coming to an end. And we see all of the craziness going on with, the political stuff. We see all of the wars, the fighting, the killing going on in our world, and just kids. I mean, literally kids, being possessed and doing the most insidious heinous crimes that you could possibly think of and taking lives of multiple people. And in that, we know that Jesus is coming back for his bride. It is unfortunate that these things have to take place, but when we chose to disobey God and to listen to the devil and allowed ourselves to be tempted, we gave up our right to have dominion over the earth, which is why evil can now come in, because we, so to speak, subleased the earth to Satan, which is why you hear many times throughout the Bible that he is the king of this world. And there's other princes and things like that that rule with him. But Jesus overcame all of that, which is why he says that he understands us and that he knows that we can overcome too, because he did. And he, not only did he, but he's going to walk with us and guide us in the midst of all of that. So I say all of this because don't fear. Don't have fear. Know that God is taking care of us. He's going to provide for us. He's going to even speak to us and lead us and show us the way that we should go. And it's up to us to allow him to transform us into who he needs us to be, and to allow him to guide us in the way that he needs us to go. And I know it's easier said than done. I'm not perfect. I'm like horrible at being led, I feel like some days. But at the end of the day, I know that no matter what, I can always fall on my knees and cry out to my Father, Abba, Father, and say, please come help me, in genuine humility. Not because I want to continue to just have a lifeline, but like I really genuinely need help. And you can too. And one of the biggest lies that people will tell you is once saved, always saved. It's not true. We have to continue to walk out our salvation. We have to continue to fight the good fight. We have to continue to walk in faith. We have to continue to allow Jesus to lead us deeper into him. And the deeper we go, the more battles we'll face spiritually and physically. But we work out our salvation, as it says in the word, with fear and trembling. And it's not the type of fear that you don't want to do something, but it's reverence and fear of God. You know, you reverence him because he's just so magnificent and great, and we don't deserve the things that he does for us. The Lord's been moving very mightily in my life since the day I was born. And I can look back and see the places where he's touched, even in the time where like I didn't notice it while it was happening. But I can look back now and see God's hand, you know, in certain situations. So, and I know his hand is on you as well. So continue to walk out in faith, continue to know that God is with you. I pray that you know that God is with you. And I hope this doesn't sound like rambling on, but, you know, I just want to encourage the people that come on my platform that hear me speak. And I just want everyone to know that, you know, God is so good. He really is. With all of that said, another thing that I wanted to mention that's very important for you to pay attention to is we need to pay attention to our dream life. When we're sleeping, pay attention, because your dreams have so many messages to help you guide you throughout your days and your life, that you can pray about, things that you have the opportunity to stop, you know, in your life. And if you aren't dreaming, you know, ask God to reveal to you why you're not dreaming, because you should be dreaming. And you can't see things that are coming up against you without having dreams. So dreams are super important. And the Bible even says that God speaketh once, God speaketh twice, and man perceiveth not. So one way that God commonly speaks to us is definitely through our dreams. So it's super, super important to make sure that you write down dreams. Seek out people that are good at interpreting dreams. And I'm not saying that not everybody needs to know all of your dreams, right? Because some of the dreams that you have may be personal between you and God, right? But if you need guidance and you see something that's alarming in a dream and you may not understand what it means, seek out someone that you trust that has spiritual knowledge of dreams, or even just a skill of interpreting dreams. Someone that's prophetic to help you understand the meaning of dreams. And also, men and women of God, please find ways to have multiple streams of income. Don't rely on your 9-to-5 job and just rely on, I'll retire when I'm 60 and just take my benefits and keep it moving. Please, 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 I beg you, find ways to have multiple streams of income, because times are going to get hard, and having a job is not going to be something that everybody is going to have the ability to have, and it'll be more and more scarce. Or, as we're seeing now, the pay doesn't match the cost of living. So please, 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 men and women of God, have multiple streams of income. Not only that you can help your family, and not only have multiple streams of income, but have multiple streams of income and work on paying your debt off if you're in debt, And I speak for myself as well, to work on these things, right? So if you have debt, pay those things off, find ways to work to pay some of that off, it all off until it's paid off, because, we want to get to a place as, children of God, who we are children of a king, right? So we should get to a place where we don't have any debt, that we have abundance, so that when times become hard, where can the world run to? They can run to the believers and to the children of God, who have the resources and the way to make things happen, because we listen to God and his guidance, right? So we can take care of our families, but we can also take care of others out of our abundance that God gives us. And many of us have so much lack. And one of the biggest lies, another big lie from the devil, is that Christians are supposed to remain in poverty. Please do not believe that. Just because somebody has abundance from God and they can afford a Lamborghini, stop it. Don't judge them. They can do what they want to do. As long as their heart is right with God, it's really not your business whether they drive a Lamborghini or a Honda, right? But you take care of you where God has placed you, and make sure that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that you have your abundance, so that you can help other people in the area that God has placed you in. And then that may not be Lamborghini world. It may be Honda world. But as long as you're driving your Honda and you're not in debt, and you can help the poor and feed the children and the fatherless and the homeless and the widows, that's exactly what you need to be doing. Let's all hear the words, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." But God bless you all. Have a good evening, wherever, or morning, day, wherever you are in the world. God bless you.